Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another high-level Marvel Rivals ranked cast. I am, as usual, Tetcher, your caster for today. And a quick reminder before we jump into it to like the video, to comment on the video, anything you liked, and any players you would like to see me focus on as we are approaching. We're almost exactly a month away from MRC, where I will be continuing to do my usual setup of commentating a game every single day. This time I'm going to make sure I commentate the finals when they come out, instead of like trying to stagger them like I usually do. I'll still be uploading them staggered, but I've learnt my lesson from the replays being absolutely wiped this season. So let's avoid that. But leave a comment saying who you'd like me to see, what's going on. And of course, you can become a member to get videos early. I was out the country recently, so people who were members at that time got 5 videos early. So you can get that too sometimes. If I have to leave to go somewhere for a couple weeks, you can get like a couple videos extra days early. If you're a kind of person that likes binge watching, it's a great idea for you. And of course, the bigger part, it's not I'm not a Netflix. I'm not a dropout. I am just a guy. This is just, if you want to become a member, it should be directly to support me. And I appreciate everyone who's done that. So big shout out to Puff, Mendilly, Doki Pokey, and Josh, our members who are helping support the channel. You can also help support the channel by turning off your ad block, watching with YouTube Premium, or just sharing the video so that more people come in, and hopefully I get a bit of a AdSense revenue from that to, you know, help me keep making the videos without having to worry about money. So, when I left for my little trip abroad, there was Kaluge at the top of the leaderboard. When I come back, Kaluge is at the top of the leaderboard, so I make a video saying how they are the #1 ranked player. That was yesterday's video. And I wake up today, and he's no longer the rank 1 player, and that's before the Kaluge video has actually gone live, because to heck with me, I guess. But we've got the new rank 1 player, and we've got a quite fun matchup where I saw in the team previews that there are some Iron Man showing up. So we're really starting to see the resurgence of Iron Man into Season 2 here. So that's what I want to show you all. So let's jump in here today. We're heading to Midtown, and our new rank 1 player. You know him. We've cast them several times before. It is LFT MCHOOOOPER, or MCHOOOOPER. Still don't know which. I assume it's MCHOOOOPER, because that sounds about right. I mean, it could be MCHOOOOPER, MCHOOOOPER. Do not know. Oh no, it can't be MCHOOOOPER, because that would be 2 P's, I think. I don't know. I am bad at spelling. Let's get this going. I'm going to start off with the Groot. And the Human Torch getting banned now. Human Torch sometimes sees play, sometimes doesn't. There's a lot of times they're getting banned away. Now, what are the second bans? What else is going to get removed here? Psylocke going to get hovered. Interesting ban choice. Blue team, Iron Fist also has massively leapt up in terms of priority. And there we go. That's what we see. No one going to argue with it. So we see Iron Fist taken away and Psylocke removed from the board. And there we go. There is that Iron Man for LFT MCHOOOOPER. MCHOOOOPER. It could be MCHOOOOPER. There's so many things it could be. Let's see, SJP also with the Iron Man. Those are the 2 I saw hovered, so they're going at it from the start here. We're seeing a 2-2-2 from the side of blue team. And red team, currently a 1-2-3. We'll have a look at that as we get ready for them to leave the spawn. On the left-hand side, in the blue trunks, it is going to be Andone 6. On the Lunar Snow. WizKabeefa, fantastic name. There we go, able to swing on through. They are on the Venom. We slid forVon. This is a reference I do not understand. They are playing Mr. Fantastic. We have Boogersnot playing the Emma Frost. Lovely. LFT MCHOOOOPER. They are going to be on the Iron Man. I'm going to pronounce it differently every time because I'm always indecisive. We have Lilghosty, another adorable name, playing the Loki here, setting up the firing squad. That is blue team. And on the right, in the red trunks, we have another Loki with Koko playing the Loki. LvPalico will be on the Lunar Snow. Oh god, how do you pronounce this one? AoE is playing the Captain America. SJP is on the Iron Man. Eating pizza right now is going to be on that Magneto, and TTK will be playing the Emma Frost. So we did end up with what seems to be a 3-1-2. Interesting. So SJP, the only damage dealer here on this team, while they're kind of... Oh, there we go. AoE is going to be swapping over onto the Wolverine. Actually, I'm going to have to get AoE like Aioli because it's at least kind of similar. Beautiful tackle there, though, finding LFT MCHOOOOPER. Sending in the shots from downrange. Invisible Pulse Cannon coming out, trying to take out SJP though, but they're already gone. No one's going to be taken out here. It's a very low elimination game for the moment. Here comes the Psionic Seduction to try and catch them out. Fate of both worlds coming in for Ando. Invisible Pulse Cannon. Whoa! Mid-air air shot down to the ground, takes out 2. Going to be pushing on in, eating pizza, getting melted, trying to take out those lanterns. Will be forced to dash away a little bit. Got that Lunar Snow healing though. Snowflake keeping them topped up. WizKabeefa playing up to the high ground, getting melted, has that symbiotic resilience though, and is able to swing away, retreat back to the team, and will get healed up to full. Lilghosty continuing to firing squad. Once again, keep that Iron Man alive and do some damage to the Wolverine when they try to dive in. Beautiful pickup as Ando gets the final hit. WizKabeefa playing hyper aggro here. Playing this tankier damage dealer. Seems to be doing quite well. ETM does not find the actual finishing blow as Eating Pizza right now gets taken out again. Here comes the Brainiac bounce from slid forVon, trying to make their way in on this Mr. Fantastic inside the doorway so that they could keep those bounces going a little bit quicker here. Pile on the damage, not able to find too much, but enough to take out SJP with the help of Hopper. Pulling back. Trying to pull back here and taking a little bit of damage. Almost Fantastic does have a lot of abilities that give them extra overhealth, gives them a little bit of invulnerability in some cases. They're still a DPS, they're still a duelist. They still can get burned down very quickly, shielding their team for the moment. You've still got to juggle. You can't play it exactly like Attack of Invisible Pulse kind of going to be coming in here as Hopper is taken down. That Psionic Seduction not finding the full targets here. Currently, only Hopper has gone down. The fate of both worlds, keeping the rest of blue team up. Lilghosty cloning themselves so that they can chain this together and drop another fate of both worlds. That's going to be enough to keep WizKabeefa alive. Koko matching inside. Eating pizza right now, swapped off of another duel, of another Vanguard, and is now on that Winter Soldier, but is taken out with the Invincible Pulse Cannon of Hopper. AoE swaps to the Doctor Strange, so we are still in a 2-2-2, but so many swaps here by Zegis to try and block at least some of that Psionic Seduction. It's not going to catch them there, but slid forVon is down. The cart still moving. TTK on the point, giving as much time as they can as SJP seems from Bob to try and take out WizKabeefa, which they will do. Turning on the Boogersnot to try and take out the backline. Onto the Strategist! That's going to be a beautiful healing lantern. Gets locked down by the snowball. Finds no one, enters the duel. No Hulk team up here, so they're not going to get the damage over time, but they're still going to try and push in, and get this final setup. There's the Psionic Seduction, locking down Hopper, trying to turn onto Mr. Fantastic with the Crystal Kick, Snowball lockdown, Diamond Form into the combo, and Yamamoto to take out the Venom. Beautiful job by AoE. They're trying to burn on through, and they hit it in overtime. That's going to be red team taking point number 1. Blue team begin to roll back out as they got staggered beautifully there. A lot of ultimates were burned by red team in order to get there, but they still have that God of Mischief. So still have a tool of their own. Lilghosty, same on the other side. These are the only ultimates that are currently ready. Fate of both worlds just came up for Palico though, evening it up. There's a couple others on 70 to 90%. A lot of shots coming in, keeping the team topped up. Boogersnot on the front line, trying to meld on through with slid forVon. Pushing in aggressively, diving on deep. 99 about to hit inflated form, holding on to it. Inflated form for that extra shielding, meaning they can push in at least a little bit here. Invisible Pulse kind of came out, took out Palico. And with the healing, that's going to be enough for slid forVon to try and push on in. Here comes the clone from Koko for the fate of both worlds with that God of Mischief to try and push on in. Invisible Pulse Cannon comes on out, takes out two with the Media M WizKabeefa on the turnaround, taking out SJP, who found nothing. EatingPizza right now does have the Kraken impact, but they're a little bit isolated, getting chased down by slid forVon. Just going to get absolutely bodied there and will get taken out.
Only 60 seconds left.
1 minute remaining. AoE hanging out, waiting for the team to respawn so they can potentially go together. Or are they potentially looking for a character swap? They are. They swapped to Thor. Now, this is a double-edged sword here. For starters, Thor losing that shield means it's going to be a little bit harder to push up. But two, it's going to be great into this Mr. Fantastic. Be able to focus them down and keep them crowd controlled and keep them where you want them is going to be huge. Invisible Pulse Cannon going to be coming out into the doorway. Huge damage. AoE focused down. But the another advantage here as slid forVon takes out TTK. While we can try and control the Mr. Fantastic with this Thor, it now gives the rest of the team an opportunity to swap onto the Doctor Strange so that they can portal whoever goes down first. Now has the opportunity to adjust, meaning that timing is going to be a little bit easier. AoE is going to be up to them really to be the one to touch this point, as in comes the clone. Here comes the Psionic Seduction to try and push on in. Invisible Pulse Cannon came on out. Kraken impact. It was blocked beautifully, but they've touched the card, allowing that overtime to start picking up. Fate of both worlds is being dropped by both teams. Palico for the real one, Lilghosty just expiring here on their clone, but Ando still has the second fate of both worlds. Koko can match as well, and they will do so. Pushing on in, trying to set their team up for a victory here to try and make an opportunity. In comes the God of Thunder, taking out Hopper on the backline, trying to push on in. WizKabeefa trying to block that Psionic Seduction, trying to block the damage output. Focusing onto that Thor, has the Meteor M going for the clones with that Emma Frost team up to get a little bit of extra spread, a little bit of extra distraction, give them some space, give them some time as that car continues to move forward, but it's still got quite a bit to go. Trying to make an opportunity, finds an opening. SJP sieging in from above, numbers in favor of red team, and blue team are coming back in for the reinforcements. Here comes Invisible Pulse Cannon! Does not find anyone here. Media M also going to get blocked out here. Beautiful bionic hook takes out Hopper again as their portal has come in for the reinforcements for red team. AoE was the one to swap onto it, so the team is now all here. Kraken impacts, but that extra healing from the regeneration domain don't get the reset here. Not enough for a finishing blow as Brainiac bounce comes on out in the doorway again, but there's too much damage. TTK into that diamond form to try and focus them down and try and absorb some of the damage from Pulse Cannon. Eaten here with the strange shield to block it. Fate of both worlds to buy the extra time as the cart moves on in 4 meters and 70 centimeters to go as they try to make it happen. That Psychic Spear for the extra little bit of damage. They turn the attention on to Boogersnot. Chopper is down here on the low ground to try and keep control. The focus is real, but it's just too much. Red team are gonna be pushing on into point number 2 here as finally they get rid of Mr. Fantastic, and overtime once again is where red team seem to be doing their best work. Beautifully done, pushing on in hyper aggressively here. Unable to hold the line, keeping WizKabeefa topped up. Good shield with the magnetic curtain to block some of the damage. SJP sieging from above. You can see Chopper up there. Gonna send some shots onto Lilghosty, trying to take out those clones. The shots. Invisible Pulse Cannon, point blank with the diamond kick. It's enough. Takes out slid forVon and WizKabeefa. Boogersnot is down, and red team continue to power on through. Hopper Go for the damage boost. Here comes the Kraken impact. They want to try and take out the Iron Man. That's the target they want. The Unibeam is good, but it's not enough. Pulled down. And Eating Pizza right now continues to capitalize. They're going to back up here with the Kraken impact, realizing that the enemies were a little bit staggered. They might get themselves caught out of position if they were to dive on in there.
A nice deep freeze.
Hopper. Aya Magamoto comes in and tries to catch him midair. Unable to do so, but it's enough to lock down Ghosty. Gets the shield from Magneto so they can try and counter that out here. There's the pull. Hopper pulled on him, and they're going to try and absorb the damage. Getting healed up beautifully by the Lunar Snow. They want to take out SJP. Invisible Pulse Cannon is at the ready. Here it comes! Into the back line. Takes out Palico. Removing a lot of the healing, but Koko is still able to get that Fate of both Worlds clone. Ando matching for their own team to try and give everything they can. We slid forVon in that inflated form to try and turn this round with that damage buff. No one's on the point right now, so the overtime is ticking down, but they're able to turn it round and dive on. But with Brainiac bounce, it's very dangerous to be here. Eating Pizza right now goes down. That is Koko down. And we're running out of players here. No one can portal because AO is still on that Doctor Strange. It's up to these final points here. Psionic Seduction to try and lock down anyone who wants to try and reinforce this. AO is starting to drop low. TTK, Psychic Spear dropping low. Diamond form to buy time. Strange dropping low. Good crowd control. Booger's not getting focused down as TTK is holding this. There's only a sliver left though. Cleaned off the point. Eating Pizza right now is able to touch it for a little bit of extra time as they try to hold the line. But they got to stay on that point. They need to keep touching. There's less than an inch left. Invisible Pulse Cannon! Blocked beautifully by Magneto. Burgess not holding the line, and they're forced off the point for just a split second. 2 points, 144 meters, 17 centimeters for the red team.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
What an incredible push. What a matchup between these two. I love the adjustment that we saw of swapping off of the Doctor Strange so that someone else could swap on when they got eliminated for the quick rollout. That is thinking ahead. It is an issue that we've seen a couple of our casts where someone is stuck on the Strange, and instead of like running into the gate to try and running into the base quickly to go for a transformation, they roll it out. Now this can obviously be due to the fact that you want to have that ultimate, but in some cases it might be worth swapping off here. In this case, I believe the portal might not have been up, so it was more sensible for AoE to stick it out in that final push. But overall, what a fun round one as we are heading in to round two. Let's have a look at some of these statistics. 29k damage for McCopper, but it's being beaten out by SJP with 30k damage here. 29k damage for TTK as well. Another incredibly high damage Emma Frost player, only taken out 3 times, 7 final hits. Most final hits currently over to McCopper. Number 1 player for a reason. Top healing, Lilghosty, baby. Hopper going to be sticking with that Iron Man. Was on Hella for at least a moment. We're going to be swapping back off that. Just coming in. The Iron Man sneaking back into the meta, it seems. I've been seeing it in a couple games now. It's slow and steady, but we're seeing it appear every now and again. Shots coming in, just taking out the Loki clones first. Get rid of the Koko clones. Cuckoo for clone puffs. Eating Pizza right now. Trying to look for the shots. SJP, all of them trying to focus their fire here onto McCopper. Keeping the pressure on. Still taking out those clones. Not going too aggressively for the moment. Speaking of aggression though, we slid forVon with inflated form with a pulse cannon into the backline. Completely absorbed, but it's enough for WizKabeefa to be taken out by TTK. Here comes the counter. Sharper unable to find one either here. SJP forced to retreat as we slid forVon is forced to back away here in inflated form once again for absorbing a little bit of extra damage, but they're going to be pulled in. No, beautiful block there. Able to dash away to their team while healing up Hopper at the same time. Fate of both worlds going to be coming out. Counter with their own Psionic Seduction. Eating Pizza right now went for a Kraken impact and got popped immediately. Taken down here. Fate of both worlds on that God of Mischief about to expire. Slid forVon trying to keep the pressure up. Gonna absorb some of the damage, allow themselves to get healed back to full here. Inflated form for the shielding, but not gonna over-aggress. No need to overextend and get picked off here. Lilghosty, a little bit of Loki firing squad on the cart. Mr. President riding with the top down as they make their way forward. The memes about this skin have been absolutely diabolical. SJP sieging in from above. Lovely angle. Utilizing the transforming terrain if need be to back away with the pulse cannon. Coming out. Beautiful pickup. Takes out Hopper, who was looking to try and finish them off, meaning that they have a lot more freedom now up here in the sky. Lilghosty cloak getting taken out of silent seduction. Trying to lock him in. Gets two! Nicely done! And we're likely going to see the elimination of most of these people here. Although the counter Sonic Seduction, that's going to be enough to drive them back here as SJP able to back away. That was very nearly a full team wipe here, but then sustained between Mr. Fantastic and Emma Frost, working out in their favor. Koko going for a clone. Onto LvPalico. Giving them that fate of both worlds. Lilghosty doing the same. Matching from the other side. Invisible Pulse Cannon and Media M. And it is dodged magnificently. Lilghosty barely even bothered here as they make their way forward. EatingPizza right now making their way back in. SJP continuing to try and maximize damage output. Invisible Pulse Cannon. Absorbed Media M for the block here. Fate of both worlds to try and buy that little bit of extra time. EatingPizza right now on the low ground. Hitting some good shots, but taking too much damage. The AoE from Hopper here, from Hopper. Doing a little bit too much. Backing away, drops a couple of rockets just in case they get dove. Tension. Trying to get onto the back line as currently a very deeply slid forVon was able to dive deep into the back line, and now they will ride in with the card as point number 2 has been taken. We're heading to a distance-based game right now. 144 meters and 17 centimeters is what needs to be beaten, and we're already at 36. Hopper with a pulse cannon from above. Takes out Palico once again, and evasive maneuvers. Able to avoid, also took out some Loki clones. Able to stay upright, keep them sieged, keep them staggered. Building transformation, down goes AoE. We're starting to see Red Team's defenses evaporate here as they're pushing on in. 93, 94, 95, SJP backing up. Rounding the second to last corner. One more corner and a little bit down the road is the difference here. Captain America for AoE, giving them a little bit of dive potential to try and get onto that point and hold it, which they need to do. They've got a touch. They're going to be able to make their way in. CDK is going to make their way in with that silent seduction, locking down Koko here. Forced to back away with the pulse cannon, comes down, completely blocked down. Crack and impact though. EatingPizza right now has to be the one to do it. Beautiful bionic hook for the setup, taking out Hopper as they make their way in with the Soldier's Fist. There's potentially another reset if they can get onto BoogerSnot. No, it will expire. Team up with Cap with the slam for the extra damage to take out BoogerSnot. We never see it, but it comes out in his final push, and the cart moves back to 6 meters away from that final push. So close. So close. Hopper trying to make their way in, trying to find the right angle. EatingPizza right now. The team up play to burst through the health of Emma Frost. AoE pushing in. Good damage. Trying to get the focus onto those backline members that's shielding mostly. A distraction is just as useful in this case when you've got time to burn. In comes the psionic seduction from BoogerSnot, finding one, but they're tagging through. Invisible pulse cannon from above. SJP not able to mirror the freedom charge for AoE to try and buy the time as BoogerSnot pops off here. It's all about AoE right now. They're frozen out though. Chain freezes from the the Emma from the Lunar Snows. Who's left on the point? No one can reach. Palico tried to sprint in, but the extra combo of the Psionic Seduction into two-man Invisible Pulse Cannon from directly above. Like the wrath of an angry god. MCHOOOOPER comes in, takes MVP, picks up the double, and secures the win. Nicely done. What a game. That was so fun to cast. Let's look at some of these statistics. Most eliminations by only one. It's not a lot in it, but MCHOOOOPER, 29 eliminations. 28 for SJP, just a little bit behind. Final hits, though, quite surprising. But I guess we have slid forVon, who isn't also a big last hit character. We can see they got 11. EatingPizzaRn right now got 12. That's to be expected. But MCHOOOOPER with 19 compared to SJP's 5 here. Quite the big difference. Least amount of times getting eliminated. Lilghosty, baby. Only getting taken out twice. That is 3 times less than anyone on the red team. Nicely done. Ando just behind them with 3. Ando, though, sniping the most healing ever so barely. Look how close this was. 58k for Koko. That's not bad. Then we got 62k for Lilghosty. 62.1k for Palico. 62.6k for Ando. The healing is so close between them all here. Top damage. Even though MCHOOOOPER got more final hits here, and that their fellow damage dealer actually got a little bit less damage than the damage dealers on the other side, because that's what you expect from Miss Fantastic. We'll jump onto that in a moment, but they still did less damage than SJP. 47k to 50k for SJP. SJP spreading their damage out a little bit more. Of course, there was a lot more damage absorbed here. If we look at the damage blocked, we got 62 and 65k for TTK and AoE. But then the highest on their team is 29k for EatingPizza right now, which is still pretty good. Although they did get taken out 11 times, which certainly skews that balance a little bit. Then we've got 62k and 64k for WizKabeefa and Boogersnot, and then Mr. Fantastic, who is a little bit lower damage than any of the damage dealers, as we'd expect, 28k, but also absorbed a lot of damage. So their pressure that they offer, the shielding that they offer, it is its own role almost, Mr. Fantastic. Yeah, you're getting eliminations, but also you're trying to keep your team alive. You're tanking when your tanks need to get healed. You are doing a very important job here, and that is why a good Mr. Fantastic is really finding its way into the meta in a very small niche that seems to work for them here. So very cool. Most damage tanks, though, does still go over to AoE. They swapped through some damage dealers. They swapped through some vanguards. They really just tried to adjust for their team there. They got taken out 10 times. They did as best as they could. Huge shout out, though, to TTK and Boogersnot, though, who on vanguards, of course, the Emma Frost DPS is real. 41k for Boogersnot, 44k for TTK. That is more than the Winter Soldier. And TTK getting 9 final hits as well. But that is going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. We have our win. And, of course, MCHOOOOPER, MCHOOOOPER, please, if they're watching this or if anyone knows them, please tell me how to pronounce their name. I've cast them so many times now, and I don't know. It's all caps. How am I supposed to know where the emphasis is? Is it MCHOOOOPER? Is there a gap in there? Is it just meant to be MCHOOOOPER? Because there's so many O's. Is it meant to be emphasized? MCHOOOOPER? I don't know. So if anyone knows them, or just you know, please leave a comment. I beg you. I want to know. It's bugging me how many times I'm mispronouncing this. But for now, I hope you all enjoyed today's game. If you did, please consider leaving a subscription. Please consider liking the video. We'll be continuing to release a video every single day. And a reminder, if I can get it done, the plan is to start my Marvel Rivals Esports news show this coming week. It should be out on either Monday or Tuesday if I do it right. So if you have suggestions of tournaments that I should be covering, I'm going to be using Liquipedia for my main research stuff here. So if you know anything that isn't on there, and this is big or small, if you run a tournament and you want it promoted, send me a message. If I have time in the episode, even if it's like a little tournament, send it over. If you got sign-ups that are open, I'm willing to talk about that. We want to boost the esports for this game because it's so fun. And if you're watching my channel, you must like Marvel Rivals esports because that's kind of my whole vibe here. That's kind of my whole thing. So if you want to help with that, then any help is appreciated. Let me know about the tournaments. Let me know about anything that I should be covering. If you run a tournament and you want to talk about sign-ups, you want to talk about announcements for what's coming up, please let me know and I'll see what I can do. I did this Heroes of the Storm in the past. I want to try and set this up for Marvel Rivals as well. I'm going to try and have it out by Monday. Tuesday at latest is the plan. For now, though, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, become a member if you like, or hit that thanks button so you can send a one-time donation and help support the channel. For now, though, thank you all very much for watching. I've been Tetcher, and I will see you all tomorrow.